Hiya, this is Jo, back with another video. If you're finding these useful, please do leave comments, like and share and subscribe, especially with anybody that you think would benefit from them. Please share the videos with them. You may like some of my other work as well, so there are lots of links in the box below. So I'm here to talk about angels. It came up in the previous video that I recorded, and I feel really drawn to talk about this now, especially as we are going to be heading towards really high intense energy period. So this is all of my experience that I'm talking about. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Not everybody's experience is the same, because we're not all here for the same exact purpose. So trust your own intuition about what you hear or experience. So for me, angels are pure beings. I know there are all different kinds of stories about them, but my own personal belief is that angels do not incarnate, they do not come down in a physical body, and so they have no ego, they have no personality, they have not been subjected to 3D density. Angels always work for our best and highest good, even if it may not seem like. Sometimes the advice you get from angels may not seem like it's what you want to hear, but it's always for your best and highest good. So I'll give the example of relationships. Sometimes the best thing for you might be to end a particular relationship. You do want to hear it, but that's what the angelic advice would be, because it's for your best and highest good. So it's always for your best and highest good, even if it's not what you want to hear. So I believe that angels are around this planet to help with this ascension process, this shift into 5D. And I believe that angels are there to help us to connect with our own soul when we are seemingly blocked by the negative 3D energy that we're carrying, fear-based energy. So this is why I believe a lot of people start by working with angels. I certainly did. When we're not able to access our soul wisdom, the angels are there to kind of act as the mediator, I suppose. And then as we ascend, as we shift 3D energy, and as we heal, as we become more aware of our 5D consciousness, we become closer and closer to our true soul selves, and we are able to be conscious of that in the physical body. And that's what they're there to help us with, to guide us on the journey that our soul has chosen for us. This includes archangels as well. I work with angels and archangels every single day, multiple times a day. I speak to them probably more than I speak to human people. Most days, I should imagine. They're certainly the first people that I speak to in the morning, that's for sure. And last thing at night, actually, too. So, very pure guidance that you can get from angels. But they can only intervene if we ask them to. They can prompt us to ask for help or to listen to what they're saying, but we have free will, and they will never interfere with that, except perhaps in kind of life or death situations. I'm sure that you've either experienced or heard of seemingly quite dangerous situations where the angels have kind of stepped in, and they can even come in what looks like a human form to help people in times of like danger or in an urgent situation. So I feel like this video is kind of aimed at people who are quite new to this kind of stuff. So if you've heard it before, hopefully you find something that resonates, or maybe you just needed a reminder. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning. Signs that angels are present. There are many common ones. Seeing feathers, birds, having your attention drawn to things in nature, rainbows, trees, flowers, animals. Coins, seeing pennies on the floor. Especially like with the feathers and the pennies or coins, it's especially in circumstances or places where there's no way that those things could have been, there's no logical way that they could have ended up there. One story that I heard the other day was a lady who had been in like a sterile hospital situation, and she was worrying about the person who, was in hospital, and the angels left a feather for her there, and there's no way a feather could have got there. So you kind of have to trust these things. I think the hardest thing on this journey is to trust, and that's another good thing that the angels they've really helped me with, is trusting. And so you build up your trust. I've been building up my trust for years now. I'm still trusting, still learning to trust. The challenges kind of get bigger and bigger, but basically what you're doing is learning to trust yourself and your intuition, and so the angels help with that a lot. So they leave you little signs to help you to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, and to connect with yourself and your soul. What else? What other signs are there? Number patterns. 444 is an angel code. See, crystals. I work with crystals a lot, and I work with them every single day as well. I probably talk to them more than humans too. That's what I'm kind of holding whilst I'm doing these videos. Crystals and angels have a very similar vibration, in that they're very pure and they tell you what you need for your best and highest good, even if you don't like it sometimes. So angels and crystals work really, really well together. Other signs about angels. One thing that I see an awful lot of is flashing lights in the corner of my eye. A lot of people think that there's something physically wrong with them. They've got high blood pressure, or they've got vertigo or something, and they see these flashing lights at the corners of their eyes, or it's like stood up too fast. It's not. The angels get really close to you at times when you feel stress, and they can manifest as these sparkles of light, because they don't have a physical body. They can manifest as these sparkles of light, and that's what you see. So the white or the silvery coloured sparkles of light are kind of, from my understanding, like a general angel. But if you've got coloured lights, like a deep blue is Archangel Michael, emerald green is Archangel Raphael. For me, other people have different ideas about which colour is which angel. I've got into some discussions about this in the past. Trust whatever makes sense for you. If the same angel has a different colour for you than it does to me, it doesn't matter, because it's about your experience. So trust that. So flashes and sparkles of light. You may hear a high-pitched vibration in your ear like tinnitus, and that is a sign that angels are close to. You may physically feel them in your body, and for me it's like waves of tingles, almost like a pins and needles sensation sometimes, and it happens in like a wave, and it can feel like a cool wave, or it can be like a warm wave, and it might be a fast or slow progression, whatever makes sense for you. So if you've been feeling or experiencing those things, please know that the angels are there waiting to help you, but they will only, as I say, they will only kind of intervene and communicate and help when you ask them. You do not need to see them or like hear them definitely for them to help you. Although I do believe that you know, as you trust and as you work with them, you become more and more aware and sensitive of their messages and presence, and so you eventually may start seeing them and hearing them. Okay, so they are really, really important allies on our journey, on our spiritual journey, on our ascension journey. They are really, really important on an individual basis and also for the planet too. As I said, this mission to kind of ascend this planet is an important one and a special one, and so we have this special presence of angels there to help us with that. So, how to start working with angels? I would guess if you're watching this video, you've probably already been experiencing some of the things that I've talked about, or the signs. And so, the next time you become aware of those signs that they are around, start to speak to them. You can talk to them out loud, like I'm talking now to you, or you can do it in your mind. Either way is totally fine. Obviously it might depend on where you are, what you're doing, who you're with. You can start by thanking them for being there, thanking them for wanting to help you and wanting to communicate with you, and for letting you know that they're there. And you can start to ask for their help. I find that it's usually best to ask for their help in kind of an open-ended way. So let's say perhaps you're in a stressful situation and you feel tense and anxious, and you've become aware that they're there. You might be able to feel them, or you might see the sparkles out the corner of your eyes. Just ask them to help you for your best and highest good. Always for your best and highest good. Can you please help me? What do I do? Please protect me. It might be a situation where the energy is pretty dense and overwhelming and you ask for their protection. Or you might want to know what you should do. People have different ideas about the way that the messages might come back. Ultimately, you have to learn the way that you work with the angels. It's a very personal thing. So what one person says might, it might work for them, but it might not necessarily work for you. And so you have to maybe experiment and see what works for you. And you have to trust whatever works for you, even if it's somebody else to say, no, I don't do it like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So messages may come instantly. When I started to work with the angels, the first thing that I would get would be emotions that would flow up, and it's like it comes from the heart for me, and it'd be like an upwelling, like a bubbling up of emotion in a positive, reassuring way. And sometimes it would be like tears, or it would be joy or a relief. So it's like a real soft energy. They're very powerful, but it's a very soft energy that comes up. And it's like a feeling that makes you feel and know that you're not alone. So you may well get those emotions that come up. So you might, say, thank you for being there. Please, can you help me? And that's what you experience first. And so it's just a confirmation. You know that they're there. You know that they've heard you. And that's your step. That's your first step. And then you build upon it over time. You may well hear messages. That's not something that I get really. But if that's what you get, then go with that. A lot of things that I receive are kind of mental. So I would get visions of things in my head. as a nudge about what I should do or where I should go. It might be colours or patterns that you get, and you kind of have to decipher and figure out what they mean. And the colours, again, they all have a significance, but I think that's very personal too. I get a lot of just knowing, and it's very hard to explain what that is, but I just know. And I would get that from the angels a lot too. I would just know. It's kind of the hardest one to put your finger on, really, that just knowing. I'll come on to some examples a little bit later about that, because they've just given me something else that I need to mention first. You may well ask the angels for some help, and immediately in your outer world your eyes are drawn to something that you had not noticed before. So it might be a certain word in a magazine or book that just happens to be lying around. It might be a certain image that you see. It might be a particular, like a crystal. They're drawing my attention to crystals. It might be a particular crystal that your attention is drawn to. And they're clues, and again it's like breadcrumbs, they're clues as to what to do to help yourself. And as I said, those messages become stronger and stronger and more detailed over time. It might be the words in a song that you hear over and over again, conversations that you overhear with people and they mention the same word, and you hear it over and over and over again on the TV or on the radio. So you have to be, what this is all about doing is becoming just very aware, not overlooking things or discounting them as just a coincidence or just, whatever, because very little out there is an accident. So please just try and open your awareness and try to trust what comes your way. And I would say, you can establish your own relationship with angels yourself by saying, look, I've seen this, and I think this might be a message from you, so please can you give it me 3 more times, just so that I know that that's definitely what I'm supposed to do, and see what happens. So work with it, trust what you're getting, and build it up. It's a relationship that you build up just like you'd build it up with a human person, as well as building a relationship with yourself and trusting yourself, because this whole 3D experience has taught us not to trust ourselves. And so they're letting me go back to what I wanted to talk about before now. When I was starting out working with angels, I've told this example to loads of people, but I've been drawn to tell it again. I hated driving to new places and parking, hate parking. And I hate paying for parking as well. It's just one of my pet peeves. I hate paying for parking because it's like dead money. I hate it. And so I started to work. I was aware of angels, and I was like a bit skeptical. I was like, yeah, but really, can I really do this? Can I really do this? I know that they're there, but can I really do this? I was like, right, I'm going to test it. They probably had some fun with me trying to work with me in the beginning. And so I would know that I was going somewhere one day in the car, and I'd be like, right, angels, please can I have a parking space? I hate parking. It stresses me out. So I like to park in certain places. I hate parking in NCP type multi-storey car parks because they panic me. I don't like them. It's too enclosed. It's too close. I don't like it. So I would ask for parking spaces in the places that I wanted them. And so as I started working with them, the spaces were there for me, and I would deliberately then ask for places, where I would think, there won't be a space there, and there was a space in the place where I wanted, a busy space, a busy place, and there'd be a space waiting for me. But then what the angels want to do is to stretch you, to stretch your trust, to build your trust, to challenge you more. And so I would have these knowings, you need to slow down. So I'd be driving and they'd be like, why do I need to slow down? Like I said, it was just a knowing, you need to slow down. Why do I need to slow down? I'm alright. I'm going at the speed limit, there's nothing wrong. You need to slow down. And I wouldn't listen to start with. because I wasn't trusting. And what would happen is I would get to the place where I'd asked for a car parking space and there wasn't one. But then as I drove past, the car would pull out of a parking space behind me, and so I'd missed it, and so I'd have to come back again and just hope that somebody else hadn't nabbed that space before I got there. And so then I started to learn, when they said, you need to slow down, slow down. And so you can build up your relationship that way with them. That's what they're there for, to build up that relationship. But those kind of things about parking spaces and stuff, yeah, it's helpful, but really it's trivial, because what they really want to be helping with is your soul journey, getting to know your soul, following your soul path, and ultimately helping this planet to ascend into the 5D. So it all starts with you, and the angels are here to help you with that. So I hope that's helped. I'd love to hear your comments on this one, because the angels is something that's really, really important to me. I've not actually spoken about them for a long time. Perhaps I need to do a little bit more work with them too. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I send you lots of love, and I'll see you at the next one. And just before I go, I should mention that I will be doing an angels webinar. So if you have a look in the links below, you'll find out a little bit more about that there. Bye!